Alrighty, a new week has come, and that means that we're going to go over one of the few questions that we have available on our study guide and reading chart for the Doctrine and Covenants this year. And there's only 3 questions this week included in the guide. So I'm going to go over the one that I feel like comes up a lot, and I'm going to read it's, how can I trust prophets when I know that they make mistakes? And this is really important. It has a lot of aspects to it because, as we know, prophets are only human and humans are not perfect. Nobody is perfect. And if humans are the only option for God to use as his vessel to deliver guidance and inspiration, then he only has imperfect options. Another thing that you have to keep in mind with this question is there's a big chunk of faith that comes with it, and if you have a testimony surrounding the prophet, and if you have a hard time accepting the fact that President Elson, our current prophet, was chosen by God to be the prophet, even though he's imperfect, if you struggle with that, or you're still trying to have the faith or build a testimony to know that that is true and that that is how the church works, it might be really hard for you to accept and come to terms with the fact that even though he's imperfect, God still speaks through him. Another thing too is some people have said that the prophet is wrong. In the primary song, Follow the Prophet, it talks about how follow the prophet and you won't go astray and he won't lead you astray. And how is that possible if prophets make mistakes and sometimes teach things that maybe aren't actual teachings of the church? And sometimes things are said that are more of an opinion and expressing a personal view as opposed to it being actual revelation from God through the Spirit. And the church is really careful to consider what is said in general conference, in other meetings and things where general authorities are speaking, and they make sure that they publish what's actual doctrine and is actually coming through inspiration, and they're careful about what they officially publish that might just be more of a personal expressed opinion or view. And sometimes those can be really hard to differentiate between. So lots of aspects with that. Overall though, in summary, if you have a testimony of the prophet and you have faith that he will not lead the church astray, then it can be a little bit easier to accept the fact that the prophet is also a human and imperfect and fallible, and God is the only one who is perfect and infallible. And unfortunately, like I said, the only options on the earth for God to use as a vessel to guide his people in the Latter-day Saints today is through imperfect people and imperfect options. So you have to be able to follow the Spirit and have faith and trust and a testimony that the prophet has the best interest in mind for the members of the church and that he won't lead us astray. And there are a lot of other resources and insights about this on the church's website as well as on FAIR's website, so feel free to go ahead and look into that if you'd like, and we'll see you next week.